Hey guys, welcome back to the Comic Book Lowdown. I'm Wellington, and I'm coming at you guys with day 6 of my spring break week of videos. Got a pool week video for you guys today, and got a lot of books to review. Got 9 books total, so I'm gonna try to not ramble on so much when I'm reviewing these. But anyways, we're just gonna start out right away, of course, with the online books. Got 5 of them, so start out with Thunderbolts issue number 6. Finally, the end of this story arc, the first story arc by Daniel Way and Steve Dillon on art, and we finally get a payoff as to what was the meaning of this whole mission. Why Thunderbolt Ross wanted, pick these people, what they were doing in Katijaya, what these past 5 issues were about. We finally get in this issue, which it's kind of like getting hit all at once with all this information that we should have been gradually getting, throughout these 5 issues. Or at least, could have put it from starting at issue 3, we could have been finding things out. So there's one flaw there. So, but this story wasn't too bad. This ending of it wasn't very bad. It was kind of like we had to spend a lot of time with Red Hulk and the leader just to, get closure as to what actually happened in this book. And we find out that Deadpool's pretty much found everything out. The reason why everything is everything issues ago that we just never saw. And the only character I really like in this book is Deadpool, really. I like Venom, but they barely show him. But and Punisher and Elektra is kind of whatever thing, and Hulk is just annoying. But Deadpool is the coolest character in this book, and he's characterized in a really different way. Especially in this book, he actually has feelings for things, and it's not all jokey and stuff. It's kind of like serious, and yeah. So I don't know if I'm gonna keep on picking this up. I might read issue 7 to see where it goes from there, but I just think that there's better books out there right now. So there's that for Thunderbolts issue number 6. Moving on to Age of Ultron issue number 2. Bendis, me personally, I really like this story so far. Bendis is doing a really good job, and things aren't really wordy like a lot of people say about Bendis. A lot of things, this whole issue is kind of lacks words, actually. There's a lot of just showing off the art, and everything's pretty quiet. And for about the first half of this book, we're actually not dealing with the group of superheroes that we saw in the last issue in Manhattan. We are dealing with Black Widow and Moon Knight are teamed up together in San Francisco, and they don't know yet about, pretty much the entire, at least from what I believe, the United States is, taken over by Ultron. It might be the whole world, we don't know yet, but they think it's only San Francisco so far. So they're just fighting to survive, doing whatever, and then we pan over to the heroes that we left off last with, and we pretty much get Peter Parker's story, Spider-Man's story, about what happened, how he was kidnapped, what Ultron's plans were for him while he was kidnapped, and it's kind of a big deal. And he tells everybody his real name because he says that there's no use for secret identities anymore. But I think it's really interesting how all of this started, because it happened kind of overnight, and I just love where Bendis has taken this, and the art in here is phenomenal, especially on Spider-Man, on his flashbacks. They're so awesome. It's just a pretty good book. I'm enjoying it very much. Some of you aren't, but it's my kind of story. Next, Thor: God of Thunder. Thor was really good. This is the origin of Gore, the God Butcherer, and it's really good. They take Gore from his upbringing as a child on some unnamed planet, and how his parents or his mom is always talking about, praise the gods, and then something bad happens. And then his wife, who's pregnant with their child, is talking about praise the gods, and then something bad happens to her. And then, every point in his life, somebody's always telling him to praise the gods, and then nothing good is coming out of it, so he's kind of like an atheist pretty much, and so he gets outcast from his tribe, where then two gods in battle crash down on his planet, and one god begs him for help, and he kills the god, and then that's how he goes on his crusade on killing all the gods. And then there's a huge character close to the end of this. There's a huge character, and there's a huge thing. If you know Thor, or even if you watch the Thor movie, you'll know this character, and he's in trouble, and what Gore does to him is very just gruesome, and it's very, it's an image that we all know. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Thor: God of Thunder, issue number 6, was awesome. Next, I got back onto Avenging Spider-Man, with this issue being issue number 18. I wanted to give it a try again. I jumped off of it after the 15.1 when the whole Doc Ock Spider-Man thing was going on. But I read this one because I, of course, really like Thor, and I really like Electro. He's one of my favorite Spider-Man villains. So I was like, I'll give this a try. And this issue was awesome. This is not the kind of Doc Ock stuff that I was thinking was going on. I was kind of thinking that he was, still just bragging about, killing Spider-Man, still kind of doing bad things. But, he never really learned from him. But really what he's trying to make a difference. He's still arrogant. He's still always talking about his days as Dr. Octopus. And he's still, asking questions about why did Peter Parker do this or do that, or, but he's really, from Thor, there's a lot of things that happen where Electro has this vendetta against Thor for Thor, like, blasting Electro into space or something like that. And, he feels embarrassed, so he wants to kill Thor. So Electro goes to AIM and does all this kind of stuff. And, Doc Ock Spider-Man is always warning Thor to be careful of Electro. Of course, Thor being very arrogant, he kind of brushes off the warnings. But when it comes down to the real fight, and Electro being a threat, Thor, he's willing to sacrifice his life for the lives of the people that he's protecting. And Doc Ock notices this, and it's kind of like he wonders if he can do this himself. So, I really like this issue, and the art on it by Marco Cecchetto was awesome. Christopher Yost writing, of course, he writes Scarlet Spider, and his writing is very good, so I might jump back onto this when the funds are right and all this kind of stuff. So, Avenging Spider-Man's kind of a book that you can jump in and out of, but I might jump in whenever I can again, because this book seems pretty good still. Next up, I've got Batman issue 18. This is the last book on my online, and it was a great story. This is, of course, the Requiem of Robin, Damian Wayne, and we're getting the Harper girl back. We hadn't seen her since, like, the Zero issue or something like that, or the Zero issue. We hadn't seen her since then, pretty much. And, she's been tracking Batman for the past while since Damian died. She has no idea. And, she feels like Batman's in danger of, being killed because he's so reckless now. And, there's a lot of character stuff that she's going through with her father being in Blackgate prison, and her just wanting to get to the bottom of things with Batman, and there's a lot of they encounter each other, and at first Batman is not inviting to her advice, but later we get a more touching moment between them. So of course Batman is very he's just going all out against crime in Gotham, because that's how he's coping with the pain of his son dying. So it's all very serious, but at the end of this, we're kind of left with a light in the tunnel. So hopefully Batman can pull through, even though, I mean, of course it's a hard thing to go through because his son died, but hopefully, he's not gonna, get killed himself. And we know that he won't, but I mean, hopefully he can get his head together. Now, for the books that I have right here, I'm going to start off with Image, and this is Todd, the Ugliest Kid on Earth, issue number 3. This book, it's good, it's entertaining, it's funny, it's fun, and it's a $2.99 book, so, if you've got the money for it and you want to read something fun and entertaining, and a little adult, you can pick this up. But if you're looking for something with a story that's gonna pay off, you can use your $2.99 elsewhere. There's a lot of other good $2.99 books that have a deeper story than this, because not that this story couldn't be deeper, but it's only a 4-issue miniseries. This is the 3rd issue, and we keep on not going very much anywhere. The story, first of all, you have to note that this story doesn't actually focus on Todd. It focuses on the people around Todd and in Todd's life, such as his parents and the police chief who locked Todd up, and there's even stuff about the Maniac Killer in this, but there's very little to do with Todd in this book, and we don't advance his character at all in this book. Honestly, in this issue, we don't advance Todd's character at all, but we get some good stuff with his parents is where we focus, and they're not together in this whole issue, but they're doing their own thing, and they need to get divorced, really, because they are not good for each other at all. They pretty much hate each other without even having to say it to each other because of their actions in this book. But this story is supposed to wrap up next issue. Honestly, if it was gonna have a wrap up that pays off, I think there would have to be more issues for it. I think there was too much that they wanted to do for this book to put it only in 4 issues. But that's just the way it is. That's how they did it, and it's entertaining, but it lacks substance. Next, something pretty old, but I just picked it up, and this is Happy by Grant Morrison. This is issue number 1, and this is pretty cool. Honestly, I was lost at first. They kind of jump right into the story without you knowing much about anything, but we follow the character Nick Sachs, and he's an ex-detective. He was a top detective. He had many accolades and all this kind of stuff, rewards, and for whatever reason now he's at the bottom of the whatever. He's hit rock bottom. He's a drunk. He does drugs, but he's still he's still really cool. He's goes out and he does not play by the rules. He kills guys, But the story, the way that this stuff is going, with we find out at the end where people want to torture him because he knows the password to get a bunch of money out of this trust fund. He's the only one with the password now, and so people are out there to try to torture him, and then things get weird because there's this little blue horse, imaginary horse thing that only he sees, and it's up to us to decide if it's real or not. But it's giving him information that is going to happen, so we're led to believe that this horse is real and that he's the only one who can see it. So it's kind of weird. It's very violent. It's very adult. So there's nothing happy about this besides that little blue horse. But it's just weird. There's not much else I can say about it. Next, I got Deathstroke issue 18 with an awesome cover. And this is pretty much wrapping up the story arc in Japan. This is good writing. Justin Jordan, Edgar Salazar putting out these 2-issue story arcs. Kind of like, you know, older back issues of stuff, like from the 80s, 90s, where it's like, here's a story at you, and here's another story at you, and here's another story at you. But they're all good stories. They're all readable. They're all enjoyable, and they wrap each other up very nicely. So this wraps up the whole thing with Tomo and the Suksada clan thing, where there's framing of others for murders and all this kind of stuff, and then it ends with a lot of action. This whole issue is just action. Deathstroke is an action book, honestly. And we get into Deathstroke's head a lot, where he's being beat badly. And, he just pulls through at the end, wins out in the fight. I was going to say saves the day, but there was no day to be saved. And yeah, so, kind of a happy ending for Deathstroke, even though he ends up with like 3 broken ribs and a shattered, or a burst spleen or whatever. And, but then we get some cool stuff leading into the next issue, which I don't know what's going to happen because Deathstroke is being canceled. I think it's next month. So next month being the last issue, I think. So I don't know what's going to happen afterwards because it seems like this should be a drawn-out story. But we'll have to see next month. But great issue, Deathstroke. Great book. At least with the writers, the writing team that they have on it right now. And finally, the last book, Wolverine, issue number 1. Finally read it. Refusing to hear anything about this book besides if it was good or not for however long, for the past like 3 days. And this book definitely paid off in my eyes. I like it a lot better than Savage Wolverine, and I do like Savage Wolverine, besides that second issue. So I like the first issue of Savage Wolverine. But this issue is packed with just cool stuff. There's this father going on a rampage, killing everybody in this mall with this like disintegrator ray gun. And, he's going to kill his son, and then Wolverine kills the dad, and then you think things are like, it's kind of like a buddy cop thing, but with Wolverine. But you think things are on the up and up, and then things just take a turn. Oh my gosh, that turn was, I literally said out loud, I was like, what's going on? Because things just start going south, and they're gonna keep on going south for the next couple of issues. So I'm excited for the second issue of this. There's not much I can say else that wouldn't spoil anything. The art in here is great. The writing here is great. Cornell has a really good voice for Wolverine. I believe a lot better than Frank Cho had. He's not saying cripes, so that's a great thing right there. And I don't know, it's just, great book. And if you were thinking about not picking this up, I definitely say, you should try it out because it was pretty good. But that's it for me, guys. I'm wrapping up the weekend, or the spring break week of videos tomorrow. Gonna shout all my subscribers out. I think I just hit 50 today, so thanks a lot for that. I really appreciate it. And I'm Wellington signing off with a Comic Book Lowdown, and I'll see you guys next time.